It's wedding season! Time to pop the champagne, get on your dancing shoes, and shell out thousands and thousands of dollars? Every year there are 2.5 million weddings in the US, and it's not news to anyone, they're expensive. The global wedding industry is worth $300 billion, and an American couple spends an average of $31,000 on their wedding. That cost can be more expensive depending on where you live. Manhattanites? You've got the highest price tag. The average wedding there costs $76,000. Live in Utah? You're looking at the cheapest average, but it's still $15,000. We know the wedding industrial complex is draining our wallets, but when you consider all the excess and leftovers, what's the real cost of wedding waste? Let's start with the flowers. Unless the wedding is happening in California, where there are year-round flower farms, wedding florists are likely importing most of their products, which means that a lot of energy is wasted in transporting and keeping those delicate chemically treated buds fresh. Then there are the rings. Mining enough gold for one wedding ring generates 20 tons of contaminated waste, which often ends up in lakes and oceans. And gold and diamond mines around the world are often home to abuse and labor violations. How romantic. Oh, and the diamond engagement ring tradition? It's completely made up, by the way. Thank you, De Beers. I'll be eating ramen for the next 3 months to pay it off. And food. You've got to feed your guests. An average American wedding produces 500 pounds of garbage, most of it from food and food prep. That's the same amount of garbage that an average American throws away in almost 4 months, which is also pretty wasteful. But the United States isn't alone. Countries around the world are dealing with massive amounts of waste when it comes to weddings. India is a country long known for its lavish weddings that last days and serve hundreds of guests. The former food minister estimated 1/5 of all wedding food is tossed out. He called it criminal waste. In the city of Bangalore alone, 943 tons of wedding food is wasted every year. Pakistan had the same problem, so they passed a law in 2006 limiting wedding feasts to one main dish. And wedding crashers don't help. In Afghanistan, grooms have to prepare to feed sometimes hundreds of uninvited guests who just show up. Aside from the unavoidable food waste, this also often leads to crushing debt. What a way to begin a life together. It's gotten so bad that the Afghan parliament is trying to pass a law that will cap the number of wedding guests to 500. Where economies are booming, wedding waste is especially bad, like in Nigeria, where opulent weddings see upwards of 1,000 guests. Talk about a seating arrangement nightmare. Entrepreneurs there have begun offering everything from VIP toilets to drink delivery service, a must in a country that now drinks more champagne than anyone outside of France. So what's a bride or groom to do? Ask your caterer to donate uneaten food. Be simple. Use electronic invites to save on paper. Consider buying antique jewelry or a vintage gown. And instead of shipping in those perfect roses, use local in-season flowers. Or you could elope. There's always that. In the 1960s, only around 1 in 10 adults over 25 preferred the bachelor life. That's more than doubled. So why do so many